Hello everybody and welcome back to Learn by Play here on the D&D channel with the Encounter Roleplay crew. My name is Will, I'm a D&D sex icon and the world's greatest role player. I'm back today with yet another episode of Learn by Play. We're back, my friends, in Waterdeep Dragon Heist, which is exciting because it's out super duper soon. So let's get into it, my friends. Let's figure out who we are and who we're playing. Let's start with Sid right next to me. Sid, how's it going?
It is going great. I'm so excited to start our drug line, our fall line of drugs. I can't wait. They're pumpkin spice and they're great. So we're going to have a lot of fun with our pumpkin spice drugs. I'm playing Ramsey, who is a drow alchemist. And now we have character art and you can look at it and it's super cool. This thing is mirrored. I'm not sure which way I'm pointing. I think it's this way is the right way. Look at it. Ah!
Ah, amazing. Artwork provided to you by @NaiVinter on Twitter. Nick's an awesome guy and has done all these character portraits for us that are looking beautiful, if I do say so myself. Myth, we have you with us tonight. Myth,
speaking of beautiful,
that was my segue. I thought halfway through my sentence.
Yeah, you thought of it and then you immediately canceled. How's it going? Oh, boy. Super hyped to be here. I'm ready to be playing Captain Turntides Bromley. Last time we met him, he was suffering from some sort of sea sickness. Though he's been on the land for a while, he seems to be throwing up seawater and a whole bunch of cursed sea stuff. He's not a sorcerer, or wasn't, but now is. Something has happened. Something has changed him, and I'm excited to see what that is. Really happy to be here playing again. Super hyped. What else? I'm regrowing my mustache, so mind the dirty face. So there we go.
You know, when you described Captain Turntides, I'm imagining the dude from X-Men 1 who gets turned into that weird frog thing and you're just like pressing yourself through bars, like
against the glass.
Around. Like,
yeah, that's exactly what's going on. Yeah,
oh,
yeah,
amazing.
That's him. It's just this jelly balloon.
Jelly man. Yeah, awesome. Yep. We also have Lindy and Lindy's cat with us tonight. Lindy, how's it going?
Oh, we're doing pretty spiffy. It's just me and Tesla. We're ready to play some Dungeons and Dragons. I will be playing We're going to be playing some Dungeons and Dragons. And I'm going to be playing Drexel, the kind of punk kid, Aasimar monk. She's young. She doesn't really know what she's doing. But she's totally part of the family. And Saldiore and Flintridge are her best buds. And she may or may not know people who are interested in the fall line of drugs. So,
yes,
you know, good stuff.
The PSL. The PSL.
PSL.
Yeah, I like that. Great stuff. We also have Greg, Grimjack21502, back with us tonight. Greg, how's it going, my friend?
Oh, it is going well, man. We are back. We are on Dungeons and the Dragons, Wizards of the Coast, doing a little learn by play here in Waterdeep, the City of Splendors, the Crown of the North. I will be playing stout halfling, pseudo-dwarf-looking rogue named Flynrich Downcoin. Flynrich has spent 10 years in Irongate Prison, and on his first day, he wrote the first line of his book, and he's about ready to finish it. Let's see what happens.
Ooh. Awesome. And last but not least, we have Tool School with us. How's it going, School?
I am excited to be here, as everybody is, just to see where this goes. I am playing Saldiore, who is a hobgoblin blood hunter who is sort of over the hill, had been put out to pasture, and to get his edge back has made a pact with Drexel's family, and who have provided him the Crimson Right to sort of supplement already his sort of failing strength and other attributes through a little blood magic. And even though he's sort of partaking of something pretty similar to what we're selling, he's not a big fan of us getting in the drug trade. So he's going to try to keep his honor, even though he's already pretty much betrayed the family at this point. So we're going to have to see how that turns out. Looking forward to it.
Absolutely. And to remind you guys of what happened last time, the party has formed in Waterdeep and are working for a family, if you will. A crime family known as the Arborettis. Michael Arboretti is the young up-and-comer who is now the kind of leader of this family in the active crime network. The party have either been coerced, rejoined, or somewhat guilt-tripped into being a part of a new expedition, if you will, a new idea that Michael is pushing, specifically through Ramsey, the alchemist. And Michael has told them that they're going to create a drug for him, and they're going to push it onto the streets of Waterdeep in order to gain money and power, as the Arboretti family is losing power in the city due to various other crime families that are overtaking them ever since they lost a shipment that Turntides, Captain Bromley, lost 10 years ago, and still can't remember where it went and what happened to him that night. Hoping that he's going to remember some things, but certainly alliances are thin, and there is little trust between the party just yet. But we'll see what we can do about that today as we begin to work on a new drug, which is essentially enhancements for the people of Waterdeep. They're going to sell essentially the Bioshock like chems or whatever they're called in that, where you can like become a hero for a little bit, but you end up getting hooked on this drug. So we're gonna see how that goes. So we're gonna start things off where we left things off, in the basement of the Arboretti restaurant, famous for its fettuccine in Waterdeep, as the party have come to a conclusion about what they're going to make. However, they're going to need a whole lot of resources to make it. Our primary challenges today are going to be creating finding resources, and also finding a place to sell this stuff, because a lot of your contacts are old or dead, and you may need to forge new ones in the city. So let's kick things off with a reminder of what you guys look like. Obviously, we have the character portraits, but let's remind ourselves of like where we might find you guys. Let's say 2 hours after we left things off in this like new alchemy lab, which Ramsey has been built. So let's start with Ramsey, who's kind of running this lab.
Okay, so at this point, I think I'm still waiting on like a big haul for everyone else. Every people are like sent out. So I think a lot of it will be a lot of her time will be spent cleaning it all up, setting everything up, and also like writing out clear tasks for everybody. So like when everybody comes back and is ready to like dive into the process, she's got something for all of you to do.
Awesome. So you've kind of got like this order list, these work orders being drafted up, which probably include, you know, the ingredients that these guys are going to need to get, and you're going to probably need to get those for a fence, because some of them are illegal, or at least so highly, you know, watched over by the city guard that you're not going to be able to get the quantities that you need of certain, you know, drugs and ingredients, because they are watched over or owned by other crime families. Okay, what about Captain Turntides? He's been having a bit of a, I guess, a psychological break in which he's been trying to figure out what on earth has happened to him, or where he is. He's been going through a rough time last we saw him. So where would we find him now?
Where would we find him now? My mind during that, during the description of where Ramsey was or what Ramsey is doing is kind of giving me the prompt that maybe Turntides is, because there's a lot of things. He used to be at the like an associate, close associate, and fence for the Arboretti family. So right. He would probably know where a lot of these ingredients would be found. At least that would be 10 years ago. He would know. A lot has probably changed in that, but also maybe a few things have stayed as when it comes to the politics, or who has what, or what assets people have, and who controls what gardens, where we need some of the reagents or alchemical properties and things like that. So I think he may be helping out as where to locate and to try to tell whoever's going out to find these ingredients and things. He'll probably be like Ramsey needs these things, and then Turntides has ideas of where to find them, and probably, I guess, I don't know, a translator of what is needed for the guys out looking for it. She will state things that she needs. Turntides will then supply probably coordinates, not really coordinates, but supply where it would be. Which contacts would likely have them, or at least used to. Other than that, though, when those people leave, whoever it is that's going out, he will probably try his best to rest. He is still rather exhausted and undergone a lot of changes, and hasn't really had time yet to have just a time to breathe, even though he has spent 10 years somewhere. But he is he's going to try to take a bit of a break and some cool down during this time.
Cool down time. I like that. I'll get back to you with what you've put out on your feelers and what information you'd have learned over the past couple of hours. Maybe we find you guys in the evening. Okay, let's go to... I would go to Drexel, but I think Sal and Drexel should probably go together because they are linked and probably aren't out of each other's sight, at least not yet, until they're comfortable with one another. So where do we think we find the two of you? Oh, yeah, mute is cool.
I think after our sort of abysmal training session, or however that ended up, I mean, sort of a rough start with, I'm assuming towards the end of it that Drexel started to really beat on Sal. Sal taking probably the worst for it, but at least getting him to, trying to show her some of the old warrior ways. But I think he'll probably be along the lines of, well, we'll need more than just your skill. We need your knowledge. Take me to some of these places, contacts, where we can find these. While Bromley might be able to get the ingredients, we need to find an outlet, a safe place. Yes. And where we're not going to get tracked directly back to us and have our good friends from the guard knocking on our doors the next day.
I know some people in the Thieves Guild. I'm sure some of them will be interested, but there's just a bunch of young, back alley punks that I'm sure people are always interested in enhancements. You just have to know where to look. Who has that hungry look in their eye, but maybe not the physical capability or the ambition. We can scout around.
Well, and perhaps something like this. Do we find a reputable front potion shop, something where people are already looking for a little bit of magic? We just have some behind the counter items that they could provide.
It's not a bad idea. You should definitely look into that as well.
I figure we're probably out and about. Yeah,
right. You guys are browsing, sort of. Yeah. I'm imagining that Drexel probably has a lot more context than Sal, because she's in with with Nicoletta and the Lucian family, who are a much more powerful family. So it may be a little. We'll get into the scene in a minute, I think, but I think Sal's realizing that, oh wow, this girl has something to her at least. Like, she knows people, she's well connected.
Yeah, I'm also thinking if Bromley has a list, sounds like, well, that burned down 5 years ago and he's dead. And, they left it for Chult. I mean, there's, I bet while Bromley probably has a very extensive list, after the events of Chult, it's probably been whittled down significantly. I think that's more where Sal's might be, of him just kind of knowing the old boys network and knowing just how few of us are left. Right, his old card games and drinking buddies, they're dead, gone, left, retired, owning a farm, pushing up daisies. Right.
Awesome. And last but not least, what is Flinrich up to?
Flinrich would be, if the basement or the sub-basement where the current laboratory is being set up, he would be at least 1 or 2 levels above. So he'd probably actually be in what would be considered the washroom of the restaurant, which is probably kept pretty nice because of the front of the family, to make sure that it may even have an attendant whenever it's open, something to kind of speak of a glory long past, maybe one of those just small throwbacks. And he has his shirt off, his suspenders are up over his bare chest, exposing all of his prison tattoos that show the verbal components of spells just all the way up his neck, down his chest, over his arms. and he's sitting there, and he's found somewhere a razor as he is with soap all over the top of his head, looking into the mirror and shaving his head, and he's just flicking the follicles and the shaving cream all over the bathroom as he, and then just cleans it. And every so often he'll look at himself, and probably not if this is a throwback to the glory days, it's probably like a silvered mirror or even like finely polished metal, something to depict a once great power now tarnished, if we're going for a metaphor viewed in a looking glass. And as he's looking at himself, he's holding a conversation. Much of it's in his mind. A few words break out as he just looks, and with each, I know what I'm doing. And then a couple minutes later, yeah, the kid's going down. He wipes it on something. Yeah, this whole fucking family's going down. And then when he's done, he takes his new knife that he has, the dagger, jams it into the wood beside the basin, leaving a huge rut in what would probably be finely carved mahogany or oak or something that's equally water treated and tempered. And for a second, he'll just sit there and look at it and kind of twist it a bit and drag it along the wood as he looks up at the glass and says, yeah, I know what I'm doing. And then he's just going to wait until he's needed.
Okay. So I'm going to give Turntides, excuse me, some information on what he's like, putting out his feelers again and being like, okay, is there anyone alive that I still know? And there are a few old sea dogs, you know, in these taverns and bars who you can go and chat to, and they remember you. And, you know, they're happy to share some information. Your friend Jackson, who met you on the Serpent, oh God, I forgot the name of it already, aboard your ship. Crimson Serpent. I was trying to say the Red Serpent. Yeah,
the guide.
Yeah, the guide. He is a wealth of information, being fairly well connected, as being the sort of like dock master, if you will, and sort of sees all the ships that come and go, and he's the person to know and the person to, you know, palm his hands with a bit of coin, pry him for information. He knows who's coming and who's going, that kind of thing. Jackson will tell you about a couple of things. So it's been a while since you have been in Waterdeep. So a couple of people who are noteworthy. Leiral Silverhand. She is the Open Lord of Waterdeep, which means that she is in charge of basically all of the guard force, all of the official governmental business of Waterdeep. She works with the masked lords, the guildsmen, the noble families to keep people safe. And she has a mission against crime. Now, I'm going to assume that all of this information is pretty much shared with the party. As you guys are going to, you know, chase back and forth. Flinrich, she's the woman in charge of Carolyn, the Aasimar, who is responsible for your poisoning and for your burning out of your magic. Whether or not she signed an official warrant to let this happen or not is a completely different matter. But she is technically Carolyn's boss. So she's pretty much the head of Waterdeep to know of. The next person that you're going to learn about is Mirt. That is M-I-R-T. He is a kind of a fat sort of legendary adventurer. He's something of a carouser. If you imagine, oh man, what's the place in The Hobbit with the Lord of the towns in that? I've completely forgotten it. Don't know why I brought up a reference when I couldn't actually think of it. I was hoping that it would finish. What's the town in The Hobbit that they go to in the movies? And there's an awful lord who's running things. Man, the movies are so bad I can't even remember.
Oh, Lake Town?
Lake Town, yes, the Lord of Lake Town. One of the only memorable characterizations from Stephen Fry's character in that. Yes, so that's the image you should have in mind when you think of Mirt. He's a moneylender, and he's a close advisor of Leiral Silverhand. He's known to throw huge dinners and invite heroes to his feasting table. Because he likes to tell his stories of when he was great and when he was a great adventurer. And he kind of lives vicariously through adventurers. He's sort of like the guy who's never really left university and keeps coming back in to like tell them about the old days. But he's actually got a lot of money and is the money lender in Waterdeep. Your contacts would suggest that from now on then he'd be known to work on the other side of the law, but nothing that would ever trace back to him.
Okay.
Someone else who's like very active in the area right now, there's a lot of gossip and talk going on about her, is the Black Viper. Now, someone known as the Black Viper has become a notorious bandit and pickpocket. She scares nobles, she steals jewels, and she is a regular day Robin Hood, stealing from the rich and giving to the poor. No one knows her identity other than that she is some hidden and hooded woman of the night who takes on this sort of appearance. So,
sweet.
As for the major crime families, we have Lezentarim, who are big in Waterdeep. They are unscrupulous adventurers and folks who are willing to do most things, which of course is quite along the cut and run of most of the crime families in Waterdeep. But perhaps these guys are some of the least scruples. They don't really have that family code that you would consider yourselves to have, or this sort of noble line. Ziraj the Hunter is a half-orc assassin whom is the sort of, the man to know if you want to get to know the Zentarim. Highly dangerous, lethal, deadly assassin, someone to be watching out for. Then, of course, we have...
assassin?
Yep. Half-orc assassin. He's a mean-looking fellow who looks a little bit like Lurtz from The Lord of the Rings, with a kind of like top knot and sort of big mean bow that he uses to kill his enemies with. We also have the Xanathar Guild, who are perhaps the most notorious and virulent, powerful guild on the streets right now of Waterdeep. The Xanathar Guild operate under the streets of Waterdeep in the sewers and dungeons below the city. This makes them incredibly dangerous because they can be anywhere at any time. Now, you guys are such small fry that you don't really need to worry about the Xanathar Guild like coming to crush you because you're too small. But at the same time, everyone has to pay homage to them. And there's probably some kind of tax that you guys pay to avoid their ire. Of course, the legendary Xanathar himself at the top of that guild, but many other people work underneath the Xanathar for money, basically. So those are a couple of them that you've just sort of put your feelers out, and these are the people to know if you're looking to learn anything. Or to, re-establish some contacts. You've got moneylenders, you've got enemy guilds and families, but they are to be worked with. They are to be dealt with. Now, if you're looking for like how to distribute drugs in the city, the Xanathar Guild are the guys that do that. They push on every street, and pretty much any small little local drug lender or drug pusher can be traced back to somewhere being with the Xanathar Guild. So if you're looking to start your own, you may run into some trouble there, depending on the territories that you're working in. But then they also probably have a great deal of production and like the context that you would need to start some kind of business like that. The Zentarim. Now, I'm going to say that Ramsey might know of this person. The one other person that I'm going to give to you guys now so I don't overwhelm you of NPCs is Schemo Weirdbottle. Now, Schemo Weirdbottle is a rock gnome and a master of magic. He has a little magic and curio store known as Weirdbottle's Concoctions. And he is essentially this fence that, probably Turntides is going to hear about. He works for the Zentarim, but is independent enough that you could deal with him. And is also like this master alchemist / magician that Ramsey may have heard of from being in the city. So that's what you gain. That's your sort of like, let's hear what's going on right now in Waterdeep. What's the situation look like? Xanathar Guild are in control of almost all of this drug production. The Zentarim run protection, racketeering, and there are 1,000,001 families between you and them, such as the Lucians, this sort of ex-rival family. But that's what you're looking at right now, and you can come back and sort of share this information with the party. So Drexel and Sal. Drexel, you've got like an in-house. You looking for a fence, or are you looking for like an information broker?
Probably more of a fence than an information broker.
Okay. Yeah. You have like an in-house fence, and her name is Tina. Tina. Tina is a halfling fence who basically runs an antique store. But she deals with you on the side. So she will often like buy useful magical items from auctions and like palm them off at a better rate to the Lucian family who you're a part of. And she'll trade values and evaluate your like goods that you steal and find ways to sell them. So she's friendly. She doesn't take any nonsense, but you would know her if you'd like to visit her to gain some information. We can play that scene out, if you like.
Okay, yeah, she'd probably take Sal with her, introduce him to Tina.
I'm sorry, did you say Tina was a halfling or a half-elf?
She's a halfling, yes.
Halfling, okay, sorry.
Real petite.
So I'm following Drexel's lead on this, just sort of probably glowering and being just that large presence that he is. And sort of to see what where I'm in rival territory right now. So Sal's gonna sort of keep his mouth shut and depend on Drexel to smooth any rough edges, kind of the same way Sal did for her in the inside of our family.
Okay, so let's go and speak with Tina then. So she runs this little antique store. When you come across it, it almost looks like a shanty house which has been propped up. When you look closer, though, it's propped up and created out of a bizarre sort of menagerie of different eclectic items and antiques. It looks like at one point there's a bunch of saxophones which have been beaten into submission and like turned into part of a wall. She's clearly quite good at engineering and like building stuff, and it's quite a kooky, eccentric place which really stands out. Inside the store are a couple of people that are coming out, little nobles who are flaunting their latest vases and pots that are probably fake. And as you stroll in, you see Tina, who's standing what looks to be about 5 foot high behind a desk. You watch her like jump off the stool that she's behind, and she disappears underneath the desk, grumbles and gets something, and then like climbs back up the stool ladder to be seen at the top. And she looks at you. Oh, Drexel, hey!
Tina, it's a pleasure to see you. How's business been?
Oh, a little bit of this, a little bit of that. Yep. So what you got for me? You got something good?
Hey, I've made some new friends, and we have got a business
proposition.
Oh,
who's the big guy? Look at him.
This is my friend, Sal Diore.
Oh, ain't you just a piece of meat?
He like pushes a bird cage or something hanging from the ceiling out of his way, figuring she's a halfling that she probably hangs things low, and kind of pushes it.
Right.
Nice to meet you.
She has something of a Professor Trelawney look about her, with these sort of like goggles which are coming back onto her, making her eyes look huge so that she can appraise items that are small. And she sort of grins and says, "Well, I guess you're here for business and not just for pleasure."
Yes. You all have been so good, Tina. I've gotten into a new business venture, you see. Real good friends with an alchemist now. We're kind of making this concoction that turns regular people into adventurers. Can you believe it? It's a wonder of magic.
Interesting. Are you pushing this here, or are you pushing this elsewhere?
Well, you see, we're trying to figure out. We're trying to figure out where to push it. I figured you'd be good person to talk to about pushing it.
I think Saldiore kind of starts interrupting her a little bit of not, kind of knowing her, but also just looking into a potential new business. Really need to secure some supplies.
Yeah.
For
As I
production.
said, it's a business venture. It hasn't actually happened yet. But kind of just curious as to, where we'd push it. Yeah, we've got to get some supplies first before anything.
Distilling, copper tubing. I kind of probably have a little bit of a list from Ramsey.
This is kind of dangerous stuff you're talking about here. You're talking about pushing a new drug onto the streets here in just your own territories, because it's going to spread out.
Yeah, that stuff typically does. Who would who would you recommend talking to about if it does?
Well, if you want to buy licensing rights to the different parts of the city, it depends where you're going to sell it. Now, you're looking at, the Xanathar Guild. I got a couple of people you could talk to there, and you're looking at the Zentarim as well. I mean, these aren't guys you want to fuck with. Sometimes they come round, and, I'm all nice, and, play ball and everything, but, these guys are the kind of ones that'll take you out back and break your kneecaps so you can still, work, but, so I don't really want to get too much involved in this. I can tell you who to speak to.
Who to speak to is half the battle, and that's why I came to you, Tina. You know who to talk to.
Yeah, I guess so. So, what you got? And she kind of extends a little hand, a grubby little hand for coin.
Yeah, Drexel. I'm assuming Drexel's got some coin. She's from a wealthy family. She'll put out a few gold pieces in there.
Yeah.
Hand.
She takes it, pockets it. In fact, first of all, she looks at it with her huge goggle eyes and bites it to make sure it's real, and then stuffs it into a pocket somewhere. Okay, so if you're gonna want to speak to the Xanathar Guild, you're gonna want to speak to a guy called Nihilur. Now,
could you say that again for me?
Nihilur.
Nihilur.
It's a weird name. I'll put it in the fancy grounds. Nihilor. Yeah, no, this guy's really freaky. You want to know why? It's because he ain't like most of us. He's one of them mind flayers.
Oh, I've heard of those.
Oh yeah, they'll flay your mind real good, and then they'll flay your flesh as well. It's a guy that I don't ever like to deal with at all. Barely comes around ever. I mean, he usually sends a lackey, but he's a creepy guy. Not good news at all. But if you're gonna be,
he's the guy to talk to.
He's the guy to talk to, or maybe he'll be talking to you. You know what I mean?
Yeah, Saldiore. I'm assuming in Saldiore's long career, he's probably, if not crossed a mind flayer, at least understands the danger of even being near one, as far as any mind reading, or there's basically no secrets from mind flayers or from the company they keep, especially like intellect devourers and other nasties.
Right.
So I think Saldiore probably would step in and be like, perhaps that's not the best of choices for what
if we wanted to get in touch with the Xanathar? What about the Zents?
Oh, if it's the Zentarim you're going to want to be dealing with, then Schemo Weird Bottle's a guy who runs a little magic store around here. I mean, he's nice enough, but his big buddy isn't. You must have heard of Ziraj the Hunter. He's bad news. Real mean guy. Schemo.
Yeah, I'm familiar.
We hang out every now and again. He's okay, I guess. But his big buddy, everything goes through him sooner or later. So you might get a nice enough response from Schemo about the whole thing, but you're gonna get into some real mean conversation soon with Ziraj, the kind that involves the loss of limbs, probably.
Oh. So kneecaps or limbs or brain suction.
That's pretty much what you're looking at. I mean, this stuff here is strictly big league, is what you're talking about. I mean, pushing a whole new drug, that's dangerous stuff, man. Unless you got a lot of coin to spend on it, maybe you can work out a deal with one of these guys. But if I were you, I'd just stick with your regular business. I mean, just keep yourselves to yourselves and, try your best.
Good advice. I appreciate it, Tina. You're always a doll.
As well, one other thing you should know about is that there's a company of drow mercenaries in the city at the moment. They're Bregan Death. their name. They are mostly, I think, rebels from somewhere deep down below. And I don't know exactly how they operate or exactly what they do, but I know that you can buy their swords for any amount of coin that they want. They don't like normal elves, though, or half elves. So you should be careful if you got any friends like that around them.
Oh, all right. Good to know.
Looking for protection, they're the best.
Good to know. Thanks for the
Might
tip,
even be able to
Tina.
protect you from the Xenophar Guild and the Xenorims if you start tipping on any toes, because those guys, they're going to come around and they're going to burn your whole place to the ground and kill all of you and all your kids.
That good, eh? This Brigand Dearth?
Yeah, well, yeah. I think they could protect you, at least for a while, but you got to have enough coin.
Gotcha. Thanks, Tina. I'll flip her another gold.
Yeah, she takes it, Googles it, and then it's in her pocket. Pleasure as always, Drex.
Always. See you around. And I'll kind of
You
like.
too, big boy.
So actually, Sal will try to turn on a little charm, because knowing that right now Tina basically could nip this whole thing in the bud right from the very beginning. How old would you say Tina is? A little older, younger?
Yeah, she's probably like middle-aged for halflings, so maybe a little bit younger than you, but sort of in that same like bracket, right?
So we're from the same era,
Right.
type idea. He sort of looks and gives her a big smile, and so city's changed a lot over the years, yeah. I can tell you've by your shop. I but look and point out anything in here that I might recognize that might have been, something that's interesting from past whatever's might have, whatever the thing that would pass through that might not be popular, so it's become junk on her wall. But at one point, it was, Chultan relics before everyone.
Yeah, like
their brothers
like
came
a
back
death
with Chultan
mask
relics.
or- yeah, something like that. Some kind of cool Chultan mask or gargoyle, that type of thing. Yeah.
It sort of points up at one. It's like, oh, remember when those was something special?
Yeah, I sure do.
You end up stuck with more than you ever needed, I bet.
Yeah, still trying to flog them off.
I'm sure you've got some noble suckers out there that you can pass them off to. There's always another noble who thinks that they're getting the one and only.
I do okay.
I bet you do. So, shame when old Tessa's place burnt down a couple summers back, yeah? Boy, there was no better coffee on this side of town, was there?
I'll drink to that.
Yeah.
She seems to be tinkering away at 10 different things while you're having this conversation.
So I'm not. He'll know if he's barking up the wrong tree. But basically, maybe we could meet there sometime. Would hope that any new venture we're getting in on stays just between us.
She pushes up her Google glasses, googly glasses, rope page. Oh sure, yeah, I love talking business. Anytime.
For sure. I'll maybe we'll stop by one Sunday morning for a late coffee. Talk business.
Sounds good to me.
And I don't know. Do I need to roll persuasion or anything to see how well I did?
Persuasion check to go. Actually, you can probably just roll an insight. Just roll me an insight check to see, what kind of read you got on that.
Just immediately sell us out.
Yeah, can I roll an insight as well?
Sure. Yeah.
Okay, I have that.
That was 11 for me.
Okay.
17.
All right. So, I think you both get a read, and Drexel knows her better, which is probably why she's got more of a read on it. But it's if, this Nihilor guy came knocking, or if Ziraj the Hunter turns up on her door and is going to force choke her, Darth Vader style until she tells them where the rebel bases are, she's going to tell them. There's no question of it. no doubt whatsoever. But like, there is an understanding amongst these criminal families that the fences, you don't push them. Like, you don't lean on these fences and these sort of like middle ground people, because if they can start leaning on them, then other people can start leaning on them as well. So it's sort of like she's in this neutral ground where, like, if like there's a war about to happen on the streets, she'll probably let them know that something was up. But I mean, they're probably going to hear about this anyway.
Yeah, once they start spilling on one person's business, they can spill on everyone's business.
Right, that's it. And no one likes that, dirty laundry everywhere, that kind of thing. Yeah.
Got it. So he just gives a smile, sort of pushes aside whatever is hanging from the ceiling that his head's bumping into, and follows.
Drexel's just by the door, like flipping through some old magazines or something, just waiting for Sal Diori to finish talking. And as soon as they exit, she's gonna be like, "Are you always a ladies' man, or is that just something special you pull out on occasion?"
Just trying to get a read on how quiet our business is going to stay, and for how long.
She's a fence. It's just like on any other fences.
She's from the back in the day, and not one of these new kids on the street. We'll
There's
probably
kids on the
but
street and not a fence. Have experience to be a fence.
True. Well, sounds as though
we've got some contacts. We know who to talk to if we want to branch out.
Yeah.
Which we probably will have to, because that's how drugs work. They travel.
We're going to be in with the Zents, or in with the eyeballs.
Oh, joy.
Yeah.
So let's pick things up with you guys back at base. Drexel and Sal return. Bromley's done his sort of fact finding and shares this information, and Ramsey's work orders have been started to be filled. Flimrich is shaved, and Drexel and Sal come back into the new lab. Pick up from there.
Well, it's not going to be easy. We're not the family that we once were, and this is getting into businesses that are well controlled.
What do you mean? Not the family we once were?
Brom, it's been 10 years
Yeah,
when we
correct.
lost that shipment.
That's who we are.
When we lost that shipment, we lost it all. It was the beginning of the slide.
Oh.
You're looking
Right.
at what's left. We've got this restaurant, 1 or 2 blocks that we can say are ours. The only reason we exist is because we're so small, no one even cares anymore.
You know what's good about being small? You go by unnoticed. If we're so small, they'll never feel us bite. And when they do, we've already been infected them. So this is
I
good,
agree.
in a sense.
But to have this make a difference, even if you're just stepping on someone's pinky toe, if it's where it hurts them, they're going to come running, or they're just going to take it for themselves.
See, now you're getting to the right questions. Sal, why is Michael doing this? Small family, block or 2, just the restaurant. Now he wants to make a big move all of a sudden. He wants to make a big move. He wants to go up against Xanathar. I mean, doesn't seem quite right, does it?
You know the answer to that, Flintridge.
I do.
He's just like Arcanus was. It's Arcanus' father who built this family.
Can I make a suggestion? Anytime that we're out here, we're getting things. We're talking about delivering this stuff that the doc here is going to put up. Drop Michael's name. Let him know. Michael's around this. He's backing it. The kid's going to come running to tell us to stop. I guarantee it.
And also,
feel like I'm
an alternate
missing
outcome
something
could
here.
be.
Sorry, go ahead, Sid.
Oh, I was just saying, imagine Ramsey, looking down at her desk, with her glasses on the tip of her nose, and she's like, I feel like I'm missing something here. But I don't know how the family used to be, or what we are all missing, or anything. To my knowledge, I just thought he was inspired by the work that we could possibly create and wanted to capitalize upon it. If there's something that I'm missing, I would love to be informed, because this is starting to get confusing.
Oh, Doc, I believe that you're absolutely right. I believe he's inspired. I believe that you cause inspiration in him because you could bring fantastic wealth. I just don't think that Michael's ready to go up against the Xenarealm, Xanathar. Nah, not that kid. Why would he put us in charge of something so important? A guy that's been in prison for 10 years. No offense, Sal. A guy he had working in the kitchen. Points over at Drexel. Somebody he just met. And Brahm. No offense, Brahm. You just literally washed up on shore. Here, guys, take everything. Fate of families with you. Doesn't smell right.
You're onto something.
I also...
Huh. That little bastard. Drugs. It's always been Xanathar. He's been the one running the drugs. His new right hand, apparently, or tentacle, when it comes to Xanathar. Left eye, whatever. Is a mind flayer.
Really?
All it takes is us with Brahm bumping into a mind flayer. And suddenly, yeah.
Now I see.
There's
Now I see.
what he's up to.
Shit.
And when he does it, he gets noticed. And the Doc here is a hell of a bargaining chip. Because, Doc, you were going to cure the death curse. I have no doubt that given the resources, you're going to make the drug you say you're going to make.
But wouldn't.
That's not where the money is for Michael. The money is getting noticed by the Xanathar. He's never making this family great again, but he can improve his own position.
He's going to sell out the family to the Xanathars.
And the Doc.
Stock and barrel, deliver it on a silver platter.
Oh my. I have no idea what I've gotten into. She just goes back into her work and she's like, I'm just gonna find some peace and quiet in my drugs.
Let's not worry about it, lass. That's not to worry.
Brahm, didn't you mention something about a new group of mercenaries?
Yeah, well, you mean the Zenrim?
Oh, the Bregan Death.
The Bregan Death. They're like drow
Yeah.
mercenaries. Supposedly,
Only
at
through
this point, we
whispers.
can keep even the Xanathar and the Zentarum off our back.
Yes, but Drow. He walks in with the information about the delivery, a drow alchemist who could potentially influence this group of mercenaries. And he's walking in, delivering, who knows, everything. Well,
Just give me a quick history check, actually. In fact, Ramsey will have advantage on this because this is about the drow.
I sneezed. What are we rolling?
Bless
History
you.
check, bless you.
Ew. I have to go find it. I'm all bamboozled after my sneeze.
Right.
That happens to me
Everyone
too.
roll,
Every
it's
time I
just-
sneeze, I don't know where I
Oh,
am.
everyone? Oh, okay.
Please,
Oh,
everyone.
everyone.
All sense of perspective. Yeah, and Ramsey will get advantage.
Okay.
Saldori's got a dirty 20.
I've got the perfect number.
Nice. Okay. So let's see. Sal.
I got
Correct.
a 10 and a 12.
Okay. You would know this then, yeah. So pretty much Sal, Bromley, and Ramsey would know this. So the drow really do not get along with these mind flayers, like down in the underdog. So Ramsey would probably know that like they're not buddies whatsoever, and like there's quite a great deal of like hatred going on between the two of them in terms of like power plays and struggles that are happening in the Underdark right now. So they probably, these Bregendaev guys, and Ramsey may even know this, are from more like a noble family within the Drow society, and would consider themselves above ever working with someone like a mind flayer because they just don't trust them. They know how evil they can be, and like, well, the Drow are evil, right? They don't. You know, they enslave people, but like they're scared of mind flayers. You know,
No
they're like
offense.
the
would
enemy.
they
that
work-
hunts.
Would they work with Xanathar, though?
Entirely possible. Yeah, entirely possible.
Yeah, I mean, if
you-
Xanathar's got
from
big
what-
plans of...
Right. From what Bromley has learned so far, you don't see any affiliation between them.
Right.
But it's entirely possible that they would work together. So yeah, they're principled, but maybe their principles stop when there's enough money, right?
Right. So, it's a heck of a gambit. Well, and Michael never was very good at history. He could be walking in. He'd be walking in with a time bomb that he thinks is lobster on a silver platter. He wasn't ever the
This doesn't
brightest, you
seem-
know that.
This is starting to seem like a very poorly thought out but mastermind plan. Is that what is usually produced by this Michael?
Quick question, because I guess Sal would know. Has Michael ever had something come through? Or other than
He
just small
hasn't,
stuff?
like- He hasn't really had the chance. Like this is his shot. You think, you know, this is the time that he's been given this sort of chance. So it's, you know, he's always been impetuous, and so it's not out of character for him to try something big, and you know,
Big
and for
and
it to
stupid.
fail.
Yeah.
Right. He's also like, you know, you've also seen in this kid like he's a bit of a Mordred, right? Like he's talented, but like he's mean as well. Like he has that streak in him which is just ruthless, which you need to have. You know, some would say to be in this business, but you know, he kills people, right? Like he's not afraid to really hurt people more than they need to be hurt.
So also, quick question. How deep is the family into Mert? This money we've been throwing around, is it ours or is it all... I mean, are we in...
So far, you've avoided Mert. Yeah, you've avoided that
Okay,
money
so
lending.
we're not-
Basically, you run small operations which are like self-funded, but like if you wanted to fund something like this and start pushing it, an independent way away from Xanathar and the Centaurim would be like the legitimate route, which is Mert, and to be like, hey, we're going to give all these adventurers like special powers. That might be something Mert would be interested in funding.
Investing in.
However, it wouldn't necessarily give you the protection from those criminal families.
Right.
Which is an amazing... Mert is... Mert, this man Mert here is we've got an alternate route through him if we want to disperse some of the product. Now, the only thing that does expose our necks. Now, that also could be an alternate route. It depends on if we want to work. As you gotta like look around towards the rafters for our employer and with our employer, or if we want to really bury our own grave. Which I think both are his plan.
You know, as someone who is admittedly not as informed in all of this, it's starting to seem like we're the only mind and muscle that he has. So, have we asked ourselves what exactly is our punishment if we don't come through, if we're all that's left?
Sal just kind of looks at her with the, oh, you don't understand how bad, you can't even fathom how awful it's going to be.
Ramsey's like, no, I cannot. I have no idea.
Yeah. Sal just kind of like shakes his head. Well,
imagine
Michael,
dying. And now imagine not dying, but wanting to die.
Oh.
Michael will hurt you.
Hmm.
Will hurt you in ways you didn't even know you could be hurt. Not physically, but in every possible way. And then he's going to make you suffer. And maybe, if you're lucky, he'll let you die.
Aye.
So then we do distribute the drugs the first way then. Jesus Christ, everything is starting to get even worse and worse. The more we talk about it, the more I'm just confused and upset that I'm here.
Big decision time, everybody. Who are we gonna go talk to? Yep.
I think we're playing into Michael's hand if we go to the Xanathars.
Wait, is that the safest option?
No.
No, because...
Well, if we do, I cannot
They have
go.
the Mind Flayer, so...
Yeah, if we could, I wouldn't be mad about avoiding the whole Mind Flayer and Ramsey interaction. Just
Likewise.
a personal history.
Yes. Well...
I'd love to see one.
So we've got this interim or hiring security.
Quick
Seems
question.
funds are a bit short.
On Zyrage,
Yep.
the hunter. I mean, I'm assuming if he has this type of reputation, I mean, Sal would at least know of him. Probably has killed some of our own.
He's actually, yeah, he may have been responsible for the deaths of like some of your, like people. It's unlikely unless they were out of line. He's actually known as like a guard killer. Like he kills the watch. He's kind of like a scalper, and like he hates the city law enforcement of Layrel Silverhand. But that doesn't mean that he doesn't kill anyone else that gets in his way. But like his reputation would be fierce, kills guard, and probably is one of the only people with the balls to like stand up directly to Layrel Silverhand and her law enforcement mages and patrols.
How long has he been on the scene? Like 5 years, 10 years?
Yeah, let's call it 5 years. In the city, he's built himself a reputation.
So when I was sort of being phased out, I was still enough on the street to hear about him, but never, of course, would have been facing him because I was getting pushed aside. Okay.
Right.
I look to Flinrich, since we're old buddies. We never had love for the Zentrum, but one thing is for sure. Zyrage has no love for Viral Silverhand and for Carolyn and her hard line enforcement of laws around the city, what's become since she took charge.
Right. I sort of look at this like the way the doc's gonna make this drug. It's not just one ingredient. We're not gonna just talk to, my opinion now, I don't think we should just talk to the Zenerum. I don't think we should just talk to Xanathars. I don't think we should just talk to Mert. I don't think we should just talk to L'Oreal Silverhand. I think we should talk to them all. Everybody know what's going on. This is the city of splendors. Last thing they'd expect, my friend, is for me to go to the Silverhand.
Why would you go to the Silverhand about this? She's trying to crack down on crime in the city.
Do we want to
Drugs
be
is
under
generally associated with crime.
Right.
Yeah.
Do we want to work for Michael? That's the bottom. That's the question of the hour. Zenerum, Xanathars. It's the question of the hour. Are we working for the Arboretti family? Are we working for Michael?
I just want to sell enough of this as fast as possible so I can get on with something else and not be indebted and in fear for my life at every turn. This is not my world. So
You get used to it.
I agree, Doc. You pay the debt or you get rid of the debtor. If there ain't no Michael, there ain't no debt.
Well,
all right.
And quite possibly, we hold the only wild card in the deck. I look to Brahm.
Yeah. It's always best to play both sides of the horizon. You see, you could always take a look at what's in the dark and get to know each and every star. But has anyone ever asked the sun?
It's true.
Goddamn, Brahm, I missed you.
Why don't we go talk with both sides here? Maybe show only pieces of our hand towards everyone at the table. Therefore, we know, and we'll palm the other cards.
I got a question.
Exactly.
Will.
Yes.
Do any of us know what the shipment was?
Nope.
I did once, probably.
Well, no, but you knew where it was, but did you know what?
I knew where it was. I never knew what it was because I was hired to go get it. I wasn't hired to look into it yet. Sure.
I wonder if our first piece of information that we might need to get is that one.
Get the doc out from under her debt, get us out from under Michael, and then we can work on getting Brahm's memories back. Take our time.
I'll tell you the easiest way to get rid of Michael. Now you see, if we start naming him as who we're working for, If we are the tongue in the mouth of Michael, then people are only going to know the face of Michael. They're only going to have the target of Michael. Now, he'll be the first to go. If we start blabbing on about our amazing product and what it can do and what Michael has done for us and his beautiful ideas of the pioneering life of everyone here and in Waterdeep, then people will start to get jealous. People will start to look toward the head of the snake. And then we'll be free. You'll be free. As I lean back in my chair and kind of tap on Ramsey, she's got her nose in her drugs. Weird phrase. But yeah, as you'll be free. Now, all we have to do is squawk.
That's what I'm saying.
And we don't have to pay a thing.
Michael this, Michael that.
Aye.
It's a dangerous game.
Is it always?
Play.
The best sailing is the one with the high waves, my friend.
I've got nothing left to lose.
We still got to pick who to go to first. I think we should save Xanathars for last.
My question, Schemo is with the Zentrum, right?
Correct.
We've got an
Let's go
alchemist.
find Schemo.
Is Schemo the equivalent of Brahm in the Arboretes? He's the equivalent in...
Yeah, let's say that, yeah.
Yeah. Okay, he's like the very close fence associated...
I thought Schemo was the alchemist.
He is, but he
But he
pretty much
also
sells
offends.
everything. Yeah.
Okay,
But also a fence, yeah. His front is an alchemist, but he's a fence.
Oh, gotcha. Sorry. I was missing that.
Yeah. Sweet.
Big city.
Sweet. Yeah. Perfect.
So I guess we're heading to Schemo.
Yeah. And wait, hold on. What's your name? As he kind of like leans over towards Drexel. We've met before, but he
sorry.
doesn't remember.
It's Drexel.
Drexel. As he goes to kiss your hand.
Drexel Shen.
Chen.
Pleasure to meet you.
Leisure.
I look to Ramsey. If we're going to see an alchemist, it might help to have someone who can talk the lingo.
Brom, roll me a history check.
Ooh. Oh no. Oh no. Oh good, his
We're
brain's
good.
still Swiss cheese.
He doesn't
We're
really
fine.
remind you.
Oh my god.
Like, there's
Yeah,
something which is
Ramsey-
like, oh, have I met you before? But no.
Yeah, that's why I had that moment of... Right.
Like Ramsey pulls out some vial or something in her alchemy belt and unscrews the top and just throws it back. It's like, oh, okay. If I'm going to be doing the talking, I need to be much more relaxed than I am right now.
I like
Hold
that.
on.
I'll pass
I
that
like
around.
That whole idea, yeah.
Yeah, that's this old. Pass that around.
Take one down, pass it around.
Yeah, she does. She's passes it around.
Sal's gonna
Drexel-
pass.
Yeah, Drexel actually won't drink. I forgot I was gonna do this. Drexel doesn't drink. So Drexel's gonna pass it around, but she's gonna give a little shoulder squeeze to loosen her up a little bit. You've got this.
Here.
So, you guys headed off to Schemo's Schemo Weird Bottles alchemy shop and kind of fence network. So you head over that way through town and you enter enemy territory. As you leave your own sort of hunting grounds, you head into the Zentarim territories in town, which is to say that there's most of it, right? But there are no longer familiar faces on the streets. There are no longer friendly faces on the streets. The corners of pubs, bars, and restaurants, every shop seems to be filled with thugs and gangsters who bear the tattoos of the Zentarims. Black market network of thieves and thugs who work here in Waterdeep and across the whole, world, really. That's, you guys are like small local company. These guys are the Amazon of of oh, that weirdly works quite well, doesn't it? But anyway, they don't pay their taxes, and like they certainly sell some pretty good stuff. So you're not exactly being followed, but you're definitely being kept an eye on, like your own tattoos, and like many of you would be on the radar of people who need to be looking out for anyone with like a weapon or a sword. So yeah, it's probably the occasional respectful nod and glance over in their direction, and as long as you're not starting any trouble, they're not starting any trouble.
How much attention is Broadway getting?
Right.
Certainly more attention than he should be. You would, from several rooftops here in Waterdeep, you're being stalked by, a couple of rangers or scouts. This is typically Ziraj the Hunter's MO. He hunts from the rooftops and assassinates people with, bows and arrows and just sort of hail of black arrows from above. It's the whisper of a cloak that you'll spot from a rooftop every now and again. You'll see something in the corner of your eye and look up, and nothing's there. But as you approach Schemo Weirdbottle's shop, there are about 5 well-armed and armored thugs who are standing outside, seemingly sort of bouncing anyone that doesn't look like they should be here. There's one particularly looking brutish half-orc who wears half plate and has just covered in tattoos all over his body. He probably is the Sal of when Sal was in his prime. This guy has got, he looks like he works the hell out, and he's got his big axe on the back, and he looks very discerningly at the group of you as you begin your approach. They look like they're going to stop you before you can enter in.
Will, the entire way from when they entered enemy territory, whenever given the opportunity, or even when he doesn't think anybody's looking, Flinrich is either giving the semantic hand code for the Arboretti family in Thieves' Cant and Michael's name as he's just walking. And we belong to this family. Orders of Michael, just kind of constantly doing it with his hands as he's walking around. If he sees anybody and they nod, he does the Thieves' Cant to them, just letting everyone know who they are.
Screaming from the top of your lungs. Ugh.
This half-orc addresses you in Thieves' Cant, which is pretty much like the accepted talk that all of you guys would understand. Ramsey, you probably speak like a stunted version of it, maybe because you're not exactly a thief, but like you've picked up enough from working in some pretty rough places to understand the language well enough. He
I would pick it up well because you're a drow too, and drow have that sign, so it's probably really easy to pick up on.
Not all drows are thieves, man. That's
no, they have
the
they're all thieves. Yeah,
they got it right.
That's amazing. So who's the leader of this group? Who's the one that's spearheading the entrance into the Schemo shop?
It is not Ramsey.
I was gonna say if Sal sort of sees the Sal of this group, he would sort of assess how he has sort of placed the other guards. Obviously he's got someone, right. He's got the small guy in the end who's got a shank ready to slip it in someone's ribs from behind. He's going to take from the front. If there's someone who might look like they've got a little bit of magic in them, ready to cast off to the side, and he'll go up sort of walk up. I mean, not necessarily toe to toe the guy, but kind of with a bit, a respectful approach.
Yeah.
Of just say, your wing shank has his dagger showing, and look over sort of.
Yeah, he looks over and goes at the guy. Awkwardly kind of slips it back in. He looks back to you after glaring at this guy. And it's like, what brings you here, Greymane?
little business with Schemo. We're Arboretti's here to getting some supplies. We're a bit short. Hoping we could come this way to
Some of the old boys remember that one. And he nods towards Captain Bromley.
Yeah. I sort of look around to us and sort of go, we're the errand boys now. What they do to the old. I sort of look to his guys when the old guard gets old. We're on an errand for Michael.
You see that
Don't make any trouble here.
Mm-hmm. You see that a blackbird flies out from the alchemist shop and lands on this half-orc's shoulder and seems to be speaking into his ear. He kind of listens to it as he remains eye contact with you and says, "All right, you can go in." But he looks towards Ramsey and says, "She's not one of us, so if you're going to vouch for her, then that's fine. But if she talks, then..."
We understand the price.
Yeah, Flinrich will immediately vouch for Ramses from the back. Yeah, she's good. No problem.
He kind of nods towards Flinridge. Good to see you back.
Good to be back.
He steps out of the way and passes, lets you guys pass into this pretty weird and wacky alchemist shop. Whereas, in fact, your new friend Tina's shop was pretty hectic and not really well ordered. Schemo Weird Bottle's shop is very neatly ordered. Ramsey, this speaks to you immediately of a professional in the medical field. He's got everything labeled and secured away behind glass cabinets. Everything is ordered and alphabetically or maybe numerically ordered around depending on the stuff that he's selling and organizing. And his desk is remarkably lower, so he doesn't have to have a stool. So the desk itself is at sort of shin level for anyone that's not a gnome or a halfling. Schemo himself has a kind of really long pointed beard, and he looks like a bit of a drug addict himself. He's got sunken dark eyes, the deep dark skin of a rock gnome, and a slightly frazzled look about him despite the clear tidiness and cleanliness that he keeps his place in. He looks up from a pair of glasses which he takes off and sits down, says, So, I've been hearing that I've got some Arborettis in here.
Sal just sort of, yes, we're on an errand. We have a new alchemist in the family. She needed some supplies.
Dr. Hudson.
Ramsey looks over at Sal and is gives a questioning look. Is it normal that he knows my name? Should I?
Yeah, Sal gives a nod of, yep. Everybody knows everybody. Yeah, I mean, he doesn't say that, but just sort of gives him the nod of, oh yeah, they're going to know who you are. You were working on the dev computer, yeah.
Yeah, I'm a fan of your work, your papers on Defco's are most interesting to read.
Thank you.
I mean, basic, but interesting.
Thanks.
It's very interesting to see how other scientists get to different, if false, conclusions about things. But it's nice to have you here, Dr. Hunt. Some trained minds. It's always a pleasure to have around. And Captain Bromley, isn't it? One of the boys still remember him. Been a little while.
Aye.
Yeah. Well, you know what? Since some of you are old timers and a couple of the old boys remember you, we'll let you walk in here without cutting you up a little bit. Because honestly, there are loads amongst my friends who would think it very fucking rude indeed that you would walk in here without any kind of agreement being set up beforehand. So I'll hear what you had to say. And then we'll see. So what is it?
Well,
I'm scared.
We've already acknowledged that I'm new here, and obviously my knowledge and my findings are quite basic. So I've come because quite obviously I need help assimilating into this lifestyle, and I've been tasked with something by Michael, and there are some supplies that I need to complete this task, and this is where I found the best place to get them in order to do so.
Please do be more specific. I very much enjoy specificity.
Well, all right, and she like reaches into her pocket, and her hand is shaking a little bit, and she's trying so hard to like stabilize it, but she just she does like the gang thing where you like slide the piece of paper across the desk face down, and she like slides it over, and it's like a list of
annoyingly has to like turn it over, and he seems annoyed at the fact he has to.
Why are we
the
doing
ingredients
this?
that they need to pick up. She's like, that's a comprehensive list of the things that we need.
Right. So you came to me to make me give you my stuff. Got it?
Well, I'm sure we could work out some sort of deal. I'm not asking for you to
Deal?
just... She looks over at Sal and she's like...
That is very, very presumptuous, wouldn't you say?
Sal kind of winced when she said make some sort of deal.
She's
He glares at her for a second and is like, all right. Now, let's stop scaring your rookies. What's going on? This stuff here,
Sal.
and he points to it, that's pretty illegal, mate.
Sal
I
looks
didn't realize
to
that there were other people around here that had a conscience regarding the law. I thought that we were all sort of...
Slight
So,
on my
well-
honour and of my friends, who are all law-abiding citizens. If you've ever seen anyone amongst me or my staff ever commit a crime, or if anyone had ever come forth to suggest such a thing, I would be deeply wounded, as would the person who said it.
Ramsey's like, I'm so sorry. And it just backs up and like stands behind Sal. And just like stops.
Sal, Brom, what are you making with this stuff? Because I can't just let these goods go out of my warehouse and into your territory if I don't know what you're making, where you're distributing it, and what your plan is. So a little bit of transparency goes a long way.
Of course, and we will be as transparent as the waves, sir. So it seems here that we have ourselves a deal for you. Now, the deal that we got, and I know this may be presumptuous, and I know we don't need to really mock about the words or what to do. And I feel like at this point, people are probably adjusting themselves, and not us, the guards, as he's starting to get a little bit animated. Now here we have something we can, yes, it may not be the most legal of ingredients, but you see, that is where we would have control. And I say we, strongly, with emphasis on you and yours and us and Michael. You see, we have ourselves a way of control. And the reason why I bring this up is because we can't control that something legal. You see, if we do, then anybody could just go, hey, guards, these people are controlling something that we need our hands on. Now, if we have it away from the eyes of the law, we have control. I think you know that, and I think the best way to do that is if we come to some sort of agreement here where we can have percentages, and we could talk money, and we could talk percentages of your cut versus us as well, as long as we have ourselves Right, and that's exactly what I'm here to talk to you about. You see, it's been a long time for me, and I'm ready to get myself my business mind back on track, and some gold in these pockets. Now, I think we could do the same thing with you. Now, if there's some sort of percentage we could come for, whether it is a weekly or a any sort of deal where you supply us with X, Y, and Z, and we'll give you A, B, and gold. Lots of it, my friend. You take a look at that right there, and I can tell you what you think that is, my friend.
Pick it up. What you're putting down. Okay? I'm hearing you. What I'm a little worried about here is that there's a couple of things you could do with this stuff here. Most of which could be quite dangerous to someone if they were to repeat use it. Now, I don't know what exactly you're making if you're pushing something onto the streets. But if you are pushing something, because it's going to spread, then I have to get permission from my higher-ups, which means that I need to know exactly what is being done and why it's being done as well. Because as far as I remember, and I have to say I don't remember much about your family, is that you don't really run in these kinds of circles. What's the big change going on? It's Michael fella. Tell me about him. He's someone I can do business with.
That's the thing. I can't believe that I apologize for all of this, Mr. Weird Bottle. I thought for sure that Michael would have had the decency and the forthrightness to contact a man of your stature to let him know that we were on our way to procure these items, as you are the seller of such goods and the delineator of such knowledge. And
that is rude.
You know, it is. It's the fact that it makes me get a little bit of something right in the back of my throat when you said that you didn't know that we were coming over here. It's something that's, I mean, you don't do it. You don't. It's not something that you do. It's this kid.
You don't do that, do you, Sal?
Y'all got him. You never do that, right,
I'm
guys? Do we
brand
do
new
that?
and I know that. I just got here
You
and
know
I
that.
am aware.
We all know, all right?
I mean,
Trying to make
the
this
doc
point
knows
better.
that. Right. And what I just wanted to make, I'm going to put the emphasis on where it belongs, is that we had no idea that Michael had not spoken with you. And he means to move a product onto the streets. Now, I'm assuming that this is going to have some type of impact on your own sales, if this is something that hasn't been agreed upon yet. I'm sure the Xanathar, I mean, I'm old, but I know that there's a sort of code here among everybody that works the streets in Waterdeep. This is the city of splendors. It's not the city of stupidity. There's honor to be had here in the shadows, and I apologize if we've infringed upon it.
Well, consider yourselves forgiven for having just traipsed in here like a couple of homeless dogs. By the way, if you're looking for any dogs, I've got 2 of them I'm looking to sell. But listen, I don't know this Michael guy from Adam. Seems like you're all very apologetic on his behalf, but also sounds like you don't exactly trust the mighty fine leadership of the Arboretti family. So if you're not trusting this guy, I don't think I can trust him to play by the rules. If he doesn't even have the rule book, if he doesn't even have the starter set, I mean, it's like $20 on Amazon. I mean, on Zentarim.com. It's good value. He doesn't even
No
have
taxes,
the rule
right?
book. Exactly.
Free shipping.
How is
Free
he
shipping
gonna...
and Zentarim Prime.
If we order
2
now, we'll
days.
get it day after tomorrow.
Exactly.
You can also bundle it up with the expansion for a discount.
Exactly.
I hear they're gonna have
So-
drones deliver soon.
Nailed it.
If he ain't gonna even come to me and speak to me, how can I do business with someone like that? He just sends, no offense, but, you know, his lapdogs.
This is a terrible offense. I applaud you for having the benevolence to be able to see past it. It is, it speaks of a character above perhaps who we have been recently dealing with.
Who have you been recently dealing with them? Anything else I should know about? It might be in on this deal. Also still on the table, of course.
Well, I mean, this is just what Michael has told us. Michael has told us that everything was okay with your fine establishment, that the Xanathar were aware of everything. Now, either he's lying about one,
Xanathar's
you,
on
or
it.
both. That's what we heard. But once again, I take no offense, nor I take any action towards this. I've been.
You. He looks at Ramsey and interrupts Flynridge. What does this stuff do then? Which way are you cooking it up?
Well, the basic idea behind it is that it's going to be some sort of a sort of enhancement for
all right,
for people that don't necessarily have the physical means to meet their goals, if that makes sense.
Would be heroes.
Oh, I see. He kind of looks over again. Yeah, I could see that. Done in the right way, of course, but have you distilled the formula? Is it ready to go? What kind of process are we in right now? Where's the production?
Not quite. We've established a new lab, and right now we're trying to get these different ingredients so we can start testing.
Xanathar's not in on this deal, right? He just knows about it.
To my knowledge.
From what we've been told.
We just have a name of someone we're supposed to talk to, a Nihilor Mind Flayer and fans.
You're speaking to Neil.
Oh, we haven't. That's last on the list. None of us were excited about heading that direction.
Absolutely not.
Maybe you're not such small timers as I thought, eh? Got an audience with Neil, then Xanathar must be interested in this stuff. All right. But here's the problem. Now I know everything that you need. I bet I could cook this up myself, and I bet I could do it better than her. Why don't I just make this stuff myself, distribute it to our territories? Gotcha. It's been great, folks.
It's a perfect idea. Perfect idea.
I mean, I'm willing to help, but if Xanathar's getting on this deal, then I don't see why I wouldn't just jump on this myself.
Xanathar's not in on the deal. Yet. Now, you see, that's why you don't cook it up, because now I think we all got a bit intimidated there. All right, we all lost our cool. Xanathar knows not of what we have. We approached you first. Yes, we had a bit of a bluff there, but that was only because of a sales pitch. Now, the reason why you don't just take everything and run and make it yourself is because Xanathar will breathe down your back. Now, if we do it, though, and we work with you, Xanathar could cut us up, and guess what? You're out of the deal completely. Layers of separation, my friend. I would assume someone of your stature would know a little bit about layers, my friend. You see, if someone's going to cut the main sail, they're going to cut the little ones first, so they can, of course, still have the wind blowing through their sails and keep them moving on there. Now, but don't you worry. Don't worry. Don't interrupt me here. There are layers. Now, we are just the top. You cut us, or Xanathar would cut us free. We all die, you keep on living, and you have your power. Now, if you do it, then you're the target, my friend, and we will just take your place when you fall. Do you want that?
Sal will chime in and just go, I barely lived through the last big family war. The Zentrum against the Xanathar. No one wants that. We're expendable. That's why we brew it up.
Regular band of desperados. Huh. All right, then. I like that. I don't want a war with Xanathar. Any of their guild. That's not what's on the cards for us right now. Or ever. Getting into the drug business is, it's Xanathar's territory. Maybe if we were looking to expand in the future into such territories without immediately starting any kind of conflict, we might be looking to do so in a smaller operation, a venture, which we could easily separate ourselves from. What kind of initial investment are we talking about here?
supplies.
Just want the stuff. No gold? I can give you gold.
Sal looks to Flinrich, knowing Flinrich has got a bigger plan and Sal's not the thinker.
No, we just want the supplies. We don't want to infringe upon. If this is an agreement, we're in agreement in good faith. You know, if we just have the supplies that we need, and when we're ready to provide it, and the doc here formulates it from the beauty that is her brain, then we'll let you know. Right?
What kind of percentage of profits am I looking at then?
Oh, I don't think we can work that out. That's Michael's purview. He's in charge of this family, but apparently his quill and
screw that
paper.
guy. Screw that guy. If he ain't going to come and talk to me himself, then you're the ones making a deal. We're the ones making a deal here. I'm not making no deal with no man who's not coming in here. So this is our deal. Now he walks in here and we put on the table. You either walk out with a deal or you walk out into the backyard. Bad things happen back there. So
Is that what the dogs are that you're selling?
A couple of them, yeah.
Figured.
So, you want all these supplies, and he points towards the list, which is, you know, if he's going to give you all these supplies to distribute this across Waterdeep, it's going to be a lot of money that he's going to be putting on the table here.
Yeah.
So, you're going to be selling them, pushing them for me with your own network. Maybe you need some help with that. Maybe I can help out a little bit there as well. But I want 80% of your profits.
Done.
AD.
You're kidding me.
Yeah, like Ramsey looks over at Flinders, and Flinders is like, "You're kidding him, right?"
Well, no, yeah, 80% sounds great, but 80% is going to also get us some gold up front and a better laboratory for the doc here. Maybe somewhere in your territory. You know, just so we're close by.
Need a place to cook it?
All right.
Buy some protection. Yeah, there's a new mercenary group who is unaffiliated.
They don't
That
like
way-
mind flayers either.
That way, yeah, they don't like mind flayers.
Yeah.
Meal
That's-
away.
Stay unaffiliated
They like
with
the
you.
doc, though.
Your guys aren't involved, but we're not going to get busted up.
Look
Now,
how this
if I
all works
were-
out.
If I were a clever man, I would say that you lot is making a play without Michael here. Now that would be me,
Why would
wouldn't
we-
it?
What,
I
a
mean,
bunch
not
of
that I
old-
would care. I would just like to know who I'm doing business with. Because if we're signing a deal here today, if we're shaking hands on it and spitting on the hands afterwards and before, somewhere in between probably as well, then I would like to know what it's going to look like in 3 months' time. Is Michael involved in anywhere in this decision-making process? What kind of communication avenue am I going to be going through? Is he going to be involved at all?
Michael? I don't know no Michael. You guys know a Michael?
Bunch
I
of
don't
old
know.
men and new players. What harm could we be?
You lot are crazy mad to come in here, you know that. Wow.
We heard you
All right.
like crazy.
What's the situation on this getting back to your lot then? Because
What
presumably
you
you're
mean?
not going home after this. Word's going to spread pretty fast whether or not I start spreading it or not.
With all due respect, Mr. Weirdbottle, I can duck whenever somebody throws noodles at me, and that's about all they got anymore.
All right. All right. Then, whilst we're on that topic, what kind of defenses is the Arboretti territory got these days?
Sal probably knows,
No, there
doesn't
wa-
he?
Yeah,
was
the
that
only
one
thing is, the only thing
Sour
that's now is that there probably are friends of yours here. Like, while the tops of the head of the family aren't, like
True.
anything to level us. Like, there are friends still in that
The
network.
soldiers all still intermingle on the streets. So I mean, there's
Yeah.
yeah.
And it is the
I mean,
people,
there's
the
like
local
social
population
blend.
would be like people that you'll have loyalty to you at least. Yeah.
Sal goes, every gray hair, every gray whisker is a friend that I've made along the way. Sometimes scars and fights side by side and shoulder to shoulder. Those bonds, those are the bonds that are stronger than blood.
Don't know what that means, but sure. I don't intend to make any moves. Just nice to know,
All I'd ask.
Give it a courtesy of a
No.
heads up.
Oh, sorry.
80% supplies up front, couple thousand gold, protection from these drow lot, your own lab. Sign this for 6 months under your company name. Don't deal with individuals. What you look called? I can have an LLC form today. You do have a name, right?
Are we doing it?
Can we do it, please?
Sure. Let's do it.
Let's do it.
Flinrich?
You want me to say it? Is that what we're saying?
Yeah.
Yeah. You can call us the Wild Cards.
Oh, gods. All right. He starts rummaging in some paperwork and starts filling out some, signatures and pass over for you to sign. Each of you can sign it, and is basically forming a company for you guys under the name of the Wild Cards. He then spends about 10 minutes drafting up a contract for your deal between Lizentarim. It's actually not Lizentarim, it's under Wild Bottle Alchemy, which is obviously his front for legitimizing all this money and laundering all the money. And he hands it over for you to sign. You're all equal parts in the business as well, so.
No. Is there any reason why we would need to leave a paper trail? You see, sometimes it's best if we...
I got my taxes, mate.
I
Don't think they're illegal, do we?
Taxes, yeah,
think
they must
the
have gotten
Zentrum
much
paid
worse,
taxes.
because I remember.
I never pay any of them, but I just have to have them filed.
The final, right? This makes sense. This makes so Flinrich walks
it
up.
makes-
Hey, when he's right, he signs it, right?
Yeah, he's right.
Well, in that case,
All right, you're right.
File my taxes, just never pay them. That's the difference.
they'll arrest you if you don't file.
It's illegal if you don't file. We just and
Drexel
with
sign as
that-
soon as Sal Diori and Flinrich sign.
Yeah. Saldiori will sign.
He smiles
Sign it.
and shakes each of your hands and says, "A pleasure doing business with you." And I think at that point, that's where we're going to end tonight's session of Learn by Play, my friends. They just signed a deal with the first person they came across, which was it's always a good idea. But Wild Waddle seems like he's got connections and he's
Just
ready to
between
cut
that and a mind flayer?
I don't know. There were some other options. During that, I was like,
There were a lot of times where I was like, I'm sweating and I want to go.
I want
yeah.
to say so much, but Drexel's so passive. So just sit there.
Right.
I just get messing up.
Oh, damn me.
I've played
Alright,
so
so
much
how do
Grand
you-
Theft Auto that it's like everybody's a criminal in that game. So it's like I'm like, oh, it's kind of I know what I'm doing here. But oh god, I was like, oh no.
Oh man! So what we're
Such a
going to
good
do is
one.
at the end of each session, rather than me doing these like 2 insights in the middle, at the end we'll get as a group together and we'll chat for 10 minutes about a different topic or different things that came up this game, and a little bit of DM player advice for you guys watching for the Learn by Play segment. So if you're any interested in that, you can just skip to the end of the video each time, last 10 minutes or so, and just there. So that episode we had a hell of a lot of like player-driven choices and decisions made right there, which have affected the course of the rest of our campaign. I think I gave you guys about 3 or 4 options into like passages that you could explore, maybe even a little bit more places that we could have gone as a party. And
we still can.
we eventually, we still can, and eventually we kind of led down this one path, which is going to have some consequences later on. Obviously, immediate benefits and consequences I'll let you guys have got supplied to create your drug and a new place and some bodyguards and some cash. But of course, later down the line, you have an allegiance to the Zentarim, which is possibly a little bit of a scary thing to have, or maybe a good thing to have. So what was that like for you guys? Because I gave you guys quite an open sort of path there, I think. A couple of options. It wasn't completely sandbox and like just fucking make shit up yourselves, but like it was really like, here's 4 or 5 options. We can branch down any of them that we like. Okay.
I loved it. I think I wrote down a bunch of it, and I'm really excited because I think we still can explore it, and I think we may, and still I think that's kind of what we made up as a group. But I mean, of course, kids in a candy store, when we're just like, yeah, let's do this up front, and of course. And all of us being like the yes and role players, we're like, yeah, we'll agree to that right now. And this got consequences. We know
like
it
on
does.
the inside,
but
we
let's
were like,
see that later. Right. Yeah. The inside, we're like, so bad, but let's sign it. Yeah.
Yeah.
I thought it was great. I mean, I'm excited to see where it goes with the other choices and the other avenues we can now explore.
Yeah.
But it was really good.
I'm really excited to see what happens when we get our break and death bodyguards. Maybe we can do some like a little underhanded drug dealing with the drow. That's kind of what I'm really hoping is that we can be like, yeah, we sold this much. But that's only what we sold in Waterdeep. All the rest got shipped to the Underdark.
Right, exactly. That's absolutely.
I'm so stressed out right now because of all this.
Good.
It's so good. I'm so happy.
Not at all because I have the biggest crush on Rig and Dorothy and their leader. It's just because they're actually legitimately cool. There's no ulterior motive to that at all. it's
Yeah, I thought it was cool, and I think that we all did like what our characters would do, despite in our chat all of us were like, no, oh my god.
Yeah.
So like I'm really proud of like, because like if you could see our chat right now, it's literally like, I'm so stressed. Oh, hugs. I'm sorry. LOL. Like, that's what our chat is right now. So I think we did a really good job of like doing exactly what our characters would do, because there's no way that Ramsey would have been like, I think this deal might not be the best for us. Like, he was hiding behind Sal, and like same thing. Like, there's no way Drexel would have like used this as her moment to declare what her
she's the
position
new
is.
kid. She's just gonna stand with her arms crossed next to Turntides and look like, yeah, I got your back. Whatever you say, I'm backing you up. Like, you guys.
Exactly.
Good.
So yeah, I'm very proud of all of us.
Oh yeah. It feels like the game has sort of like entered into, like, we're entering now into like the main part. We had like 3 episodes of sort of setup and backstory, and let's get this whole operation set up, and now it's like, oh, we're entering into like this new area of play where it's like probably going to open up even more in terms of that sandbox of like, how do you run a drug enterprise in Waterdeep, and how do you guys want to do that? There's a lot of aspects that go into running a business. So it's actually going to be kind of fun, I think, just to see what running a business looks like in D&D. Because
I'm so happy. I'm so excited
it's
for
going to be pretty fun, I think. Like, it's
We
not
have to
good.
file our taxes, but not necessarily.
But we don't
pay
have to
them.
pay them.
Yes.
You're definitely going to have to figure out a way to legitimately like launder money, else Layrel, Silverhand, and the guard are going to be crawling all over you guys. Yeah.
I saw this
pretty
post
hyped.
earlier
I mean,
today that was from Drop the Die that was like a list of all the things that you can do with money in D&D.
Yep.
And I was like, I want to do all these things with money in D&D because I've never even like gone down that avenue. So I feel like this, like, I think in this game we're kind of exploring that aspect, which is something I have never ever done in any game, is really dived into what you can do with money and how much money you can get in a D&D game.
Yeah, and it becomes an economy of the role playing of running a drug business in a magical world for us right now. Apparently, yeah. I'm taking it as an omen for our game. I had to step away because there was a weird noise from my front door. There was a raccoon who had cornered a snake against my front door. I'm kind of thinking that is us. The question is whether we're the raccoon or the snake or just cornered.
Which one's mine?
God.
Yeah, right. We're the front door.
Yeah, I was gonna say, are we the front door? As long as it doesn't get in the house, I'm fine. But I mean, that was like, right? What the hell's going on out there?
That's crazy.
We're the one who knocks.
Yeah, exactly.
I am the one who knows. Yeah. Oh man, that's going to be so much fun. Next week, getting into this sort of business enterprise and what. But I think today's like take home is like present a lot of options to your players. Present plenty of narrative give and take, so they can lead down whatever direction they think is the most fun. And say yes or no to whatever that seems cool to them. Immediately, you guys were like, "Oh yeah, Drow mercenaries, hell yeah, we're gonna do that." And mind flayers,
we still have to win them over.
Oh no, everybody does.
We still have to win over who we want. I mean, nothing is set in stone yet. We still have to we still have to convince everybody we would like to. So I mean, like that's the fun part. Yeah,
when Will was describing everybody that you guys had mentioned, I was writing this all down as Flynn, and I literally drew a diagram on how Flynn's thing could work out. And I will say that the first part, check that box.
Oh, nice. That's amazing. Well, my friends, you want to whip around real quick, and we can do our sort of how we enjoyed tonight's session and where we can find you guys online. So let's start with Sid. What were your thoughts on tonight's session, first of all?
I loved it. I love it every time. I love it even more every time. I'm having so much fun, and I don't know. It's so weird to me to have been playing like D&D for like so long. I mean, like my definition of so long, I'm like 11 years old, so like not that long, but like so long, a long percentage of my short little life, and have never ever like dived into a lot of these things. And it's like every time we do a new season of Learn by Play, I feel like this sounds so cheesy, oh my god, but I feel like I actually learned something cool. And so now I'm gonna learn how to make some money, make money moves, if you will, Ian. And I can't wait. So yeah, and if you want to see me in the meantime, you can follow me at Sid_Shields on Twitter, and I talk about everything I do over there.
Awesome. Myth, same question, my friend.
Good God, I loved it. Like I said earlier, it's super exciting. I feel like I have a little bit of practice. I'm playing in a GTA roleplay server right now. I'm playing a Yakuza crime boss, and we kind of deal both sides of the law. We also have a front and money laundering and all that. So it's like I kind of have an idea of what to do and where to go and what to say. But like, it's still in the D&D world. I'm super hyped to be exploring this theming in D&D. A lot of people don't really think of that. They're like, let's go fight and let's go do what we like, be heroes. But we're kind of wash-ups, literally. And we are all still trying to like earn our... We're not fighting for our glory. We're kind of working hard to just be safe. And like that's the cool part of like this theme is that we're not safe. It's the mean streets of Waterdeep. And at any point, any of our allies could just take us out. And I don't know. It's just like we're not kicking doors down and fighting monsters. We just have to literally watch our back and really, right now, charm our way into I don't know. I love it. I can't really like keep explaining it. Anyway, my name is Mythomatic. You can follow me on Twitter of the same name, and to find out what I'm doing throughout the week. I can't wait for next week. Thank you so much, guys.
Fantastic. And Lindy.
Oh my goodness. I feel like we're really getting into the meat of it, the thick of it now. Like we're starting, like we'd had our appetizer, glass of water, and now we've got the meal right before us, this delicious plate of fettuccine in trouble. I am so excited to see where this goes. Oh, I can't wait. I've got so much excitement. I can't even put it all into words. I just want more. I want more. I want to play all of it tonight. All of it. Let's just go for like 40 hours. It'll be fine. And then we don't need to sleep. But I really can't wait to see how how horribly wrong this all goes and see some cool sights of Waterdeep. Waterdeep's a big place. You never know what you're going to find. But yeah, super hyped. You can find me online everywhere at Laugh Level Lindy.
Fantastic. And Greg.
Man, City of Splendors, Learn by Play, Wizards of the Coast, D&D channel, all these great people, awesome DM. I only have this to say, as I am super duper stoked about how this direction switched. The general statement I will make is this: some halflings just want to watch the world burn. Grimjack21502 on the Twitches and the Twitters. I'll see you all next week when I throw another log on that fire.
Awesome. And Tool School.
I had a blast. I mean, it's always fun. I like trying to sort of figuring out where Sal fits into this, sort of being this sort of, has he drifted through Waterdeep for basically the last 45 years of his career, sort of in the underworld. And so it's lots of fun just sort of kind of exploring and trying to figure out, okay, how do you convince another enforcer boss to let you into the place you're not supposed to go to, and some of that type of stuff. And there's so much intrigue here, and me as a player, of course, I want to unwind and like pick through every single knot that I can possibly can of like, oh, and this is connected to this could be a thing, and that could be another thing, and look, and there's drow, and she's a drow, and there's, oh yeah, this is where my deep lore engineering brain just starts going nutso, and I love it. So I am Tall Squall. You can find me as Tall Squall all over social media, and let me know you found me through Learn by Play here on Wizards of the Coast.
Awesome. As for myself, you can follow me at Encounter RP or on Twitch, Encounter Roleplay, for more D&D stuff. But we're here every Thursday at 1 p.m. Eastern start, 10 a.m. Pacific Standard Time for more Learn by Play. You can catch up on the YouTube channel as well, on the D&D channel. Thank you guys for watching us, and until next time, try not to throw too many net ones. We want to be here laughing when you do. Good night, everybody. Bye.